All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 40th Platform and Treasury Council meeting. Today we'll cover governance initiatives, platform developments, and upcoming proposals. Just going to put the agenda in the chat now for everyone. There we go. All right, so a few things there, not a lot this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are. These bi-weekly meetings keep the community informed, give proposals, direct access to the council, and maintain transparent communication access across the global ecosystem. What we're building: we're creating the internet of money. 7 billion mobile users can send data instantly, but still can't truly own or move money. The Telcoin Association is changing that by building the Telcoin network, and TEL is the blockchain standard for global telecommunications. Telecom operators already run the internet, and with Telcoin network, they'll also secure the blockchain, bringing accessible digital finance to every mobile subscriber worldwide. The platform architecture: it's 3 integrated layers. Telcoin network, an EVM-compatible Layer 1 blockchain validated exclusively by GSMA mobile network operators, creating a new revenue stream for telecoms. TELX, a liquidity layer for user-owned self-custodial exchanges. And TAN, mobile apps that connect users to blockchain services and each other. There's 4 minor groups with shared governance: validators, the GSMA, mobile network operators, liquidity miners, developers, and stakers. All participate equally, each earn fees and TEL rewards for their contributions. This alignment turns participants into owners and defenders of the network. TEL token and governance: TEL is the gas token, staking asset, and governance token. The Telcoin Association is a Swiss verein governed by 5 councils. Our platform and Treasury Council oversees sustainable platform development and responsible token economics. Why it matters: every decision we make brings us closer to uniting telecom operators and billions of users around a shared blockchain infrastructure, where money moves as easily as data on any mobile phone. As your elected representatives, we're committed to careful proposal review, transparent and faithful execution of the governance framework. And with that, let's move on to the agenda today. We're going to start with a recap of the last meeting. So from the 39th Platform and Treasury Council meeting a couple of weeks back, the team provided updates on Telcoin network, with production hardening and security remaining top priorities ahead of mainnet. Networking improvements continue to strengthen reliable node communication, peer discovery, historical state syncing, and smooth transitions of validators into committees at epoch boundaries. The latest AI security scan identified a consensus registry issue around validator key validations. A clear patch roadmap is now in place, including a move from the BLS Solidity library to a Rust precompile, significantly reducing the attack surface ahead of formal audits. The network also onboarded 5 new data centers over the past 2 weeks, with further validator expansion planned. The web unification project remains in progress. We were shown demo images of the new upcoming user interface and got a sense of the look and feel. Alongside that, we had snapshot updates for TEL IP15 focused on augmenting communications and marketing, and the TIP contractor engagement framework proposal to support project-based specialist work. These updates reflect steady, careful progress as the ecosystem moves towards its final hardening phases. Okay, and coming forward for this week, the first update we got is on Telcoin network. Grant, are you able to give us a read there?
Sure can. Thanks, Hayden. Since our last update, we have expanded the team and closed over 35 pull requests. We're really starting to cook with some gas here towards this this final stretch. So the bulk of this period's work has been, again, focusing on production hardening and strengthening the network's foundations. But we've also are at the point where it's time to build on top of the network and expand tooling and infrastructure so that outside participants can actually use the network when it launches. So a major area of progress is identifying peers on the network and distinguishing between validators and trusted nodes that operators want to designate separately, and just making sure that that model is really reliable and cross the epic boundaries and yeah. Uh, I think let's see. You know, while we're also working on that, we're also reducing friction in real time for the snapshots and syncing node times, and then also just increasing database tooling and other dev tools. So we've also worked on expanding transparency. So monitoring infrastructure, node operators can opt in to share metrics and logs into sort of a centralized component that was really helping the protocol team and the node operators kind of identify and track ways to improve the overall network's reliability and stability. And we've just recently published public RPC information. So with this unlock, we're going to be able to finally build out like a public-facing dashboard, so the community at large can start to see what is happening on the network from a GUI, graphical user interface. On the ecosystem side, we are developing tools that help specifically developers. We have a CLI tool. We've also been meeting with partners who are interested in building on Telcoin network and big players in this industry, and working closely with GSMA and our MNO partners to identify priority use cases so that when mainnet launches, we have some really strong and clearly defined goals and how MNOs are going to use Telcoin network initially. Outside of just DeFi. On the security side, we've engaged with Spearbit just the other day. Yesterday, we met with them to kind of kick things off. So I think we'll be looking to put some audits in scope as early as next week. We have 3 in scope for this initial batch. The team is still we're moving very quickly, so we're going to stagger these out, but we're finally kicking those off. We're just kind of waiting on final quotes. For the full picture, ultimately where this stands, I think this is like the kind of moving at top speed, which is perfect timing to kind of peak here at the end as we get closer to mainnet. So really, really, really proud of the protocol team and just all the new additions and how everybody's really, you can just tell, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of pride in what we're building, and it's because we're from the inside out, we see what's happening and where this is going. So really, yeah, I'll stop it there. Happy to answer any questions and get into more details at the end of the call. But all in all, solid updates on our side, and mainnet is definitely it's getting very close.
Thank you, Grant. Very good to hear, and good to see you got a bit more support there with some new users or new colleagues as well to keep things moving along, and audits coming along as well. Very good. Okay, just a few other bits of housekeeping, really. We had the TEL-IP 15, augmenting communications and marketing, that has now gone through Treasury. So that'll be getting implemented shortly as it's done its journey through Snapshot. And likewise for the contractor engagement framework. So that is the approval to engage contractors for project-based work as and when required to help out with the workload there and specialties. So that has been finalized, and that will also go through. Very short and sweet this morning or this afternoon. Do we have any other questions, or anyone would like to bring anything up?
There are a few in the chat, but I'll wait for anybody on the call who wants to ask anything or go over anything.
I can provide just a little bit of an update from my end on
Go
the
for it.
business
Yep.
side of Telcoin Network, that Crane alluded to. So as everybody knows, we commenced working with our strategic telecom advisor, and it's just been going great. I had 4 meetings on Tuesday with firms that are either building out telecom applications on blockchain as their primary role, building and deploying validator infrastructure and operating validator nodes at on behalf of telecoms as their sort of delegated decision maker, similar to like a Sedona, integrator. So we've met with all these folks in a short amount of time. So the advisor's really hitting the ground running in every way that we would hope for. And frankly, we're just trying to keep up, and that's a really great problem to have. And I'm expecting, our objective, our stated objective of working with the advisor in the medium term is for Telcoin Network to be the most validated blockchain by telecoms in the world. But that's also to have Telcoin Network be standardized as the blockchain for telecoms. And what that looks like in practice is, you know, if you look around at the blockchain ecosystem today, you have, on the second largest chain and the largest chain by total value locked and usage, the most institutional chain, Ethereum, which I love dearly, and we're building it on Ethereum technologies. But it has 900,000 daily active users, and that's just really really low. And so when you look at the opportunity in front of us to focus on this initial segment of telecom ecosystem blockchain applications, and really focus in on at the outset the on-chain FX stablecoin use case, the ability to bring first mover advantages for stablecoins in local jurisdictions in partnership with telecoms and their business ecosystems. And you have this sort of local system that all of a sudden gets integrated to a global ledger that's unified across all the telecoms. And we're focused on these really, we want to hit really core important use cases. And so intercarrier settlements with stable coins, remittances, on-chain forex, tokenizing value chains, and then ultimately tokenizing the real world assets that are can now be made accessible to users on the investment side, and therefore reduce capex for the operators and for those ecosystems. Really exciting areas. Also, this sort of on-chain agentic commerce layer. When you combine all of those things, the stablecoin finance, the real-world asset, in general, value chain tokenization, and then agentic commerce. Within that, you have a very, very clear set of compelling use cases that everyone wants to get into across a fragmented set of ledgers around the world that don't really have the distribution necessary to make them viable applications across merchants in every jurisdiction in the world. And so that's where we can thrive, is we can bring that stuff to life in each local jurisdiction from each of these local telecoms and their business ecosystems with viable near-term product use cases. So that's always been really important to us, is to focus on the right segment, get them all on chain, because today distribution is so low that with any real traction for a product that's useful across a big network, you're winning very quickly. But now we've really put in all right, no, like we're going to focus on this and really drive that home across the GSMA, across all the stakeholders. And then this becomes available to every application that wants to build onto the network. And so that sort of GSMA development, the product development, the focus, A, we're on the right track, B, we're making great progress, and C, I'm feeling really, really good overall about the strategic advisor relationship, because it is already reaping massive benefits in terms of growth and adoption, participation, and focus on product. Yeah, what's going on, Ty? Always a pleasure, by the way.
Hi, thanks, Parker. Yeah, that's great news. Just one quick question, really. How long will it be until the advisor becomes known to the community?
So I want to say we're about a month of the engagement, but yeah, maybe let's say the engagement starts June 1st. So it's after the first three months, we'll formalize the public announcement and acknowledgement of it. For now, it's important that this is organic. It's important that the relationship is, it's looking great. The stars are aligning, but it's a good trial period as well, too. So yes, the short answer is 3 months after the commencement, and that we think we have really solid reasoning behind that.
Oh no, I fully support that. I was just kind of trying to get in my head the time frame for when it will be announced
Totally.
who he is. But that's really great news and very positive and very exciting times for us all.
Indeed. So, and then the second area that I was just going to share on is that the ball's in my court related to the website development. I mean, partially, I'm doing, I think there's 125 pages of content, and we all care very deeply about this. There's been a lot of work that goes into that, and it's important that we frame it right. So I really am like line by line going in and altering the content. I've gotten through about half of the section so far, and it'll be complete. Hopefully, I can crank it out the rest of the day. But it just depends on the level of revision. So yeah, I haven't been just camping out on these docs. It's just something that I think attention to detail is important. So I just wanted to provide a status update. It is dependency on me.
Yeah, and there's a few pages as well to go through on the website, and it is coming along quite nicely from what we saw a couple of weeks ago in the interim updates.
Yeah, thanks to Nick and the rest of the team that's been focused on that. Nick and Leo, and it's Derek. It's Ryan Danner's been a really great group that's really honed in, and Anderson, the provider that we're working with. I couldn't speak more highly about it. I mean, I get I get phone calls from Polish numbers all the time. I'm like, what's going on here? It must be spam. It's like, nope, we're just calling to make sure you're on top of your stuff. And that's the type of program management that you want. And it's the same thing with Storm is that they're hounding us. And I think and it's a bit of a non sequitur, but just to say that when we do these external agency partnerships, I think it's really crucial that there's a person that the agenda setter that keeps everybody in line, that's the program management, because we're building complex stuff with people all around the world, and I should have that person that keeps everybody accountable and in line towards the right direction. I've just seen massive improvements versus previous arrangements.
Yeah, good to see. Yeah, it is, and it keeps everyone on track and keeps it all rolling as well. Very good. I know we've got a few questions coming through. So on the public advisor, when will the first MOUs be released? They will announce in their own time frame, from what I understand, when they're ready there.
Yeah, it's there's the danger of like putting out timeline specific numbers, but we're feeling really confident about the stat that I said earlier, which is to have the most mobile networks on our blockchain, this year. So, we're really trying to make sure that we have great PR around that, and that it's done well, and they're like, there's a long, anyone who's dealt in telecom or really in large, incumbent businesses trying to make deals happen. It takes time to get legal to sign off on all the requirements, like being open and having PR and all of that. So yeah, I can't provide a timeline there, but Grant, if you have any color or don't, appreciate your input.
Yeah, well, we're working on having the infrastructure in place so that when the operators are ready to share, it's going to be something that the community can appreciate and look at and gather information on, and having those sort of insight into the metrics, the observability, and just the actual node operations too. I know Nick wasn't able, I don't think he's on the call, but he's been doing a lot of of really awesome work that, you know, we saw what he did with Telpets. And so he's put all that energy and that creative force behind node operators and how they engage and how they display their information and dashboards and stuff. So I'm really excited. It's cooking. I know those are just words, but yeah, it's we're seeing a lot of great effort here and progress here at the end. So yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, thank you, Grant. And it's a big task to bring them on board, and also when they actually go public with it all as well. It's also a big confirmation, but it is all bubbling away in the background. You can trust us on that one. How many telecom operators have formally committed to running Validator infrastructure on the mainnet? Well, I'm not sure how many independently, but we can definitely see who's on there at the moment with the different addresses.
We've synced 12 nodes so far, and we have plenty more that are lined up that we're just in the works going through. So yeah, there's again the GSMA as an association exists to unify all these different operators, and so every operator is very different in their teams and their ambitions and the way they operate. So bringing it all together is definitely a complex task, but the way that Telcoin Network has been structured, and I'll give a ton of credit to Parker too. He's just to see him in action, it's quite impressive, and it's a relief for me, as hard as I see the engineers working, to see someone like Parker who's engaging and being the face of the association, and just the incredible job he's doing to convince and explain and listen and meet and be available and constant questions. I mean, I've never seen so many different messaging apps on a single phone. So, there's just a lot of moving parts, and it's not a single, can't put them all in the same box, but there's a lot of work going on. And our sponsor, the consultant, is doing a fantastic job as well. Really, really impressed to work with them.
Thanks for the public recognition and appreciation, Grant. Goes a long way.
That's very good. Very good. It's there's a lot of moving parts involved as well, I could imagine. Okay. Grant, there's one for you. I suppose anyone could sort of jump in here as well. What are some of the top use cases MNOs are developing?
Well, there's a lot of areas of interest. Not to get into specifics of anything, but I know that there's a strong interest in stable coins around the world. Agentic AI is a hot topic, and not just in telcos, but just in industries at large. And telcos are the backbone of so many different industries. So a lot of that cutting edge stuff is very popular and use case. But ultimately, what I do feel comfortable sharing is that all of the use cases that we have explored so far are real world use cases, right? These are not just like meme coins or something else. This is actual enterprise interest in how they can securely and cryptographically verify and support infrastructure and payments.
Very good. Yeah, that's it's a big moving sector as well as regulation comes into play around the world for each different country, and the opportunity in real world assets, moving from the institutional side and down to the retail as well. So it's a very interesting sector. Plenty of growth, and the distribution of the network is going to be massive there, with its exposure to various geographies. I know there's a lot going on in the background. It's sort of like the calm before the storm coming up, with everything going on. Do we have anyone else who'd like to say anything, or any other questions that I've missed before we can wrap it up?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me scroll here. Here's one. Looking back to the last 6 months, what achievements is the team most proud of, and what challenges have proven more difficult than originally expected?
I think I'm I'm the most proud of the way that the protocol has been designed, so that when we're actually explaining it to telcos, you see their eyes open up and kind of the aha, and they seeing the potential, I guess. And when you cover all the different edge cases, and then you can explain how it's designed on a fundamental level, that we're just really at a starting point and building an extremely strong foundation. And there's so many different areas that we could go from here. That's probably the most exciting, is kind of like validation on that effort, because there's so much time and planning and the architecture and just the design and reliability, security, et cetera, and making it so that it's something that could meet the needs of a type of like the telcos and the amount of like just pure transactions and volume that we're and being able to support that in that infrastructure. I think the most challenging is probably just keeping up with how quickly blockchain and AI and technology in general is growing. You know, that is how can you anticipate how quickly things will change, and but also, you know, having a vision and starting off, but then trying to maintain and stay relevant and keep up with all the trends is probably a more difficult than you can anticipate, just because of how quickly things have even changed in the last 6 months. But ultimately, I think we've done a really good job of keeping up with that, maintaining, staying true to our foundation and the vision, while also being able to incorporate and juggle and chew and take on larger bites of expansion so that blockchain, when it is released in mainnet, is still relevant.
Thank you, Grant. There's a lot of stuff coming through the chat right now, so give me just a second here. Going back from the top down. Is there any idea on how many operators have formally committed to running Validator infrastructure on mainnet, and what milestones remain before they become active participants?
So again, they're all different. The MNOs are they're organized in ways that they're kind of like umbrellas. So you could have, you know, one brand that has several different operators that have other subsidiaries and stuff. So you know, kind of what we're focusing on is how to partner up with MNOs that are strategically aligned, so that several other operators, you know, is kind of a lot of carriers in a single group, I guess. So I know I'm not going to speak to actual numbers right now. That's something that, again, we're going to that we're working on every single day, and that's something that the strategic partnership is a big part of their responsibility, is working on that. From what I've been in the meetings that I've had, there's nothing but full confidence that we are going to be able to meet all of our numbers for mainnet, but also, you know, above and beyond, and getting that to max capacity. So Derek, what was the other part of that question?
Let me go back.
Milestones.
Yeah. What milestones or blockers remain in order to really, there's been a few questions. What kind of milestones or blockers remain in order for those MNOs to be known essentially publicly or apply publicly for mainnet?
Okay. Yeah, we've spoken to this before, but a kind of quick recap. But the MNOs have their biggest asset is their reputation and their trust. They're leaders in security and digital identity and just reliability, and they run networks. And a lot of that is their competitive edge. So before they get into a relatively new blockchain project, even though Telcoin has been one of the pillars in this industry since, you know, we've gone through ups and downs, and still we're here. I think that's a true testament. And being the only blockchain project at GSMA at the MWC this past year, I mean, I think we stand out in the crowd. And so, you know, there is still a lot of hesitation and just in blockchain in general, because it's a complicated technology. We're not talking Web 2, it's Web 3, and you know, what the buzzwords, all that stuff. There's a lot of just learning involved, right? And so it's patience. They are definitely keen, and I think that's where we're working at, is how to explain and how to present and to earn that trust and build that reputation and answer questions patiently before they're willing to throw their name into the public limelight. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of interest, and that's ultimately we're happy with that, and that's where we've got our foot in the door, and we're going in the right direction. So.
Yeah, in addition to the existing commercial efforts that have gone on with telecom since 2018, became the first GSMA associate member in the cryptocurrency industry. We've really we completely overhauled the set of docs that we share with with telecoms, and those sort of final areas of like membership applications and LOIs and MSAs. We've taken those from pretty difficult to sign to, oh, this makes perfect sense. And in parallel, the bank has given us a tremendous amount of credibility as it relates to relationships with telecoms. And then finally, on top of that, with the new strategic advisor, we've been able to even go through the existing docs that we already overhauled that have made tremendous leaps and bounds from the old ones in terms of their efficacy in these meetings and driving understanding about what we're doing, and also the opportunity for telecoms is we've been able to take it even further and take the advisor's advice on this, because they are on the other side of it, making these decisions on behalf of the largest telecoms in the world. And so for us, we not only have all this momentum and great positioning and are the last man standing in the room, as it were, being the only blockchain member at the GSMA at the largest GSMA event this year, we're just in a much more feasible position to make all this happen from every area. So then you compound that with the fact that mainnet's going live, very soon, and it becomes a really, really exciting proposition that, from my perspective, looks something like an exponential curve, or like gradually then suddenly. Yeah, and so yeah, I'm feeling great about where we are with go to market.
Thanks, Parker. I'm just working my way down, Hayden. If you please interrupt me if you want to go back. There's a question here about, I can probably answer it, but anybody can respond. How long before the identity of the advisor is made public? That's 3 months from the passing, I believe, right, Carter or Parker? I don't know. I said Carter, of the proposal. Is that correct?
Correct.
Perfect. So that's, I think, end of August, early September, somewhere in that time frame. Hayden, did you see another one?
Not relating to the network. There's a few regarding holdings.
Yeah, I think I have one more network one. Let me find it. Oh, here's one. Are you guys completed? Yeah, are you guys completed with AI audits?
We will never be complete with AI audits. That's the nature of just security in general. But we have made a lot of progress, and we've been able to lock down more parts of the code base that we're exhausted our AI resources, which is why we're moving forward with finalizing quotes with Spearbit, and expected to have some dates on the calendar starting next week.
Great, thank you. I think I don't see any more network ones unless I missed one, Hayden.
No, I think that's it. All right. We're still integrating with the game company. That's just come in.
Yeah, the game companies formally declared that they're going to build on Telcoin network when it's live and utilize our stable coins. We do need to do a check-in with them to see how things are going and progress that they've made and everything. So yeah, I appreciate the nod on that. We'll get back to you at the next meeting.
All right, thank you.
There's an audit question here about how long the audits are. This was talked about a few weeks ago, and Grant can correct me again if I misspeak here, but I believe the cumulative time, meaning it does not have to be linearly, meaning there's audits that can occur simultaneously, but cumulative time is 8 weeks. And that scope could change depending on how things progress. It could, but that is a tentative, again, uh, amount of time. To Grant explained a few weeks ago that that also means that we can run multiple audits concurrently. It just really depends on findings, and Grant can elaborate further if I got anything wrong there.
That was well said.
Doing my job, great.
Yeah. Nevertheless, their audits are an important part of the journey there, so they will be done. Okay, we'll just give it a few seconds to see if anything else comes through, and then we can wrap it up.
Let's see. There are a few bank and V5 related questions. Just as a reminder that those are not under the purview of the Telcoin Association. But Parker, I don't know if you want to say anything else, but those are the purpose of this call is talking specifically about the network. I responded to a few of you on the chat, but if you have any other questions, I would reach out to Telcoin Holdings in that regard.
Yeah, I just defer to what you just said. It's a way to handle it.
Let's see. Looking for the last few things. Nick just asks if is everything in the roadmap. Nick, we have an update that'll go out. I hopefully we'll have it audited and reviewed later on this afternoon. If not tomorrow. I've already got the notes from the developers, and just we need to get it reviewed. We try to make sure that at least one, if not multiple people have their eyes on it before we push things live. So a lot of that is covered today, but there'll be more as well. Oh, you're asking about things added. Grant can probably share with that, but it's more, I don't think I would call them added as so much these are feature items that are more of a explanation or deeper involved explanation of things that were kind of subsets on the roadmap. But Grant can add some more color there.
Yeah, that's the main idea. I've noticed that, for the weekly or the biweekly updates on the roadmap, a lot of this stuff was, I felt like, we've done so much as an engineering team, but I didn't have much to change on the roadmap. And ultimately, I think is because the actual tasks were very broad. A part of that is because we have so much work to do. I didn't want to spend too much time with like that actual specifying all the exact details. But as we get closer to mainnet, I think that it is. I'm trying to be more precise and just provide a clear picture and set clear expectations for the community. So it's more or less just a learning process and a personal opportunity to improve and just communicate more clearly what we're actually working on. The ultimate source of truth for what is happening and where we're at is on GitHub and those issues, but I realize that is a kind of a technical barrier for a lot of people. So the roadmap is just trying to be that happy middle ground, something that is a lot more community facing, and just doing our best to improve and be more transparent and finding ways to be more better communication.
Thanks, Grant. Always appreciate the time you give on the updates there. All right. Let's wait a few seconds to see if anything else comes in last minute. Unless anyone else would like to say anything, put your hand up and jump in now.
Parker touched on this a little bit, but the web unification project is moving along really well. Won't have as much to share as we kind of are in a transitionary phase with that and for another probably 2 weeks or so, but all good things.
Thank you, Derek. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. That was 40th Platform Treasury Council meeting. We've got next meetings, July 2nd, July 16th, and July 30th. And 2026, year at Telcoin. It's all coming. Mainnet's coming. MNO validators are setting up and actively testing, and the Telcoin blockchain standard is becoming reality. See you all in a couple of weeks, and internet money and the year at Telcoin. Thank you, guys.